Hey, everybody, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show and the Aftershocks podcast. And I know you want to see this next episode, but right before we do it, just want to remind you that if you have an Amazon device, whether it's a TV or a Fire Stick or Fire Cube or whatever it would be, a Fire Box if you're old school, make sure you add the CMSPN to it. Just look up CMS Podcast Network on your Amazon device. Add the channel, and you will get every episode of all 4 shows for free right there on your TV. Make us part of your TV viewing every single day and night, all right? It's the CMS Podcast Network, cmspn.com, and it is now on Amazon. So get it, all right? All right, here's the episode you came to see.
All right, guys, let's welcome Waylon Reavis of A Killer's Confession to the show. We've got the new single, Remember, is out on YouTube now. Make sure to go check it out, stream it, get all that good stuff. Waylon, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Been up till a bit too long today, but I'm doing good other than that. I'm doing good. It's been a nice sunny day here in Florida, and you can't complain. I'm above 6 feet, man. It's all good. I'm smiling.
Well, being in Florida, not that we get too much into COVID and coronavirus, but I mean, being in Florida, I mean, you could be on tour right now if you wanted to be.
I can actually, and that's the funny part. You know, it's getting that way with a lot of states, and everybody keeps asking, "Hey, when are you going to go out? Hey, are you going to do a live stream?" I'm not going to do a live stream for anybody. I feel like a live show is a live show. I don't want to give that away. You know, it's like I appreciate the crowd. The crowd makes it happen. But like Florida, the states are opening up, and as soon as that all starts happening, we get enough of them stringed together, we're going to make some tours happen. And, you know, I got a feeling that these states will be red, but I'm not trying to get political or anything, but it's going to depend on the, the state and the laws. I mean, because every state's going to have different laws and different degrees of like what you need to do, what you can do. If there's a curfew, you know, it's like, but I'm just like, let's get back to work. Let's get the world going again. Let's get everybody happy and, you know, being miserable working all the time. Let's get it back to that. So, you know, because, you know, it's like what we're doing right now is kind of weird, but I don't see how it can sustain itself. You know, it's like how much free money can we give away? You know, it's like everybody's got to get out and take care of their families. And I'm no different than anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're down there in Florida, you know, Texas is opening up, Mississippi's opening up. So I mean, pretty soon you can do an entire tour in Texas. You know, hit all those little just towns.
Its own country. You can drive through Texas for a week and a half.
I know you've toured as, you know, I've toured a little, you've toured, you know, once you get to Texas, you could be in Texas for 2 weeks. You know, it's like you hit that Texas section of the tour and you're like, are we ever going to leave this state?
Yeah, well, and you know how it is. It's like there's North Texas, there's South Texas, there's East Texas, and they're all proud. Yeah. It's like that's their part of Texas, but it's all its own country. It's like you get to Texas, you're driving. I remember the first time I drove through Texas with AKC, I was just like, I got a whole new respect for a bus driver.
Right.
Wow, like this is long.
Right. We played a show down near like Laredo, Texas. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's like one of the border states or whatnot, or just down there close to Mexico. And, you know, we jumped into the pool after hours and we're, you know, doing things we're not supposed to. And security comes up and he's like, he started speaking to us in Spanish and we're from the north. So we didn't know what we were talking. You know, he was talking about, all of a sudden he just goes, La Policia. And we're like, no Policia, no Policia. And we got out the pool.
Now, here's a funny story. Like we always played, oh my God. We're right where War is
El Paso.
El Paso, yeah, it was in El Paso a lot. Skinny and I one day got off the bus. We were out with Bruaia of all bands, and we were playing El Paso, and we was right there at the border. And Skinny's like, "Well, and grab your mask. I'm grabbing a camera. Let's walk across the border and get some shots." Well, all right, let's go. Skinny and I got stopped on the way to the border by the border patrol. They're like, "What are y'all doing?" We're going to take some pictures. No, you're not. Turn your ass around right now and walk the other way. Why? Do you want to die? No. Right. Then turn the hell around. Okay. I remember that being like, what in the world's going on down there?
Yeah, the first time I ever played El Paso, I remember seeing Juarez, and it just looks like a different country. I mean, it's just run down. It was a mess, and it's just like the first time you get that close to something, and you're like, wow, that is a totally different place over there.
And a lot of people don't understand. It's like when I went to Russia, when I got there, my translator first thing is, remember, you're not in America. It may look like you're in America every once in a while, but in the back of your head, remember, you are not in America and you will go to jail here.
Right.
Okay. That means don't F up. I was like, okay. But the thing about it, there was such a language barrier there. Like, I love Russia. I mean, I had the best time there, but the language barrier, I remember going to Subway. And it was the best Subway I've ever had to date. It came from Moscow. And I had to pick with my finger. And it made me respect people who come over to America and that can't speak the language and are trying to, we're just good people. We just want to eat it. We know what this is. We want it. And having to pick it out. And they made me I'm not lying. It was the absolute best sandwich from Subway I've ever had.
Now, what kind of sandwich was it? Was it the BMT or just a ham sandwich?
It was like a ham or like a club or something. I just had to point at the number and do like that, like 1, 2, 3. Just like counting, throwing fingers up, and just picking which one. They'd be like, and just apologizing. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Russian. I wish I did. I'm starving.
I'm just a good old boy from the South.
I'm just hungry. And another funny story about food. Australia had the worst KFC in the world. And I was live that day on Facebook, and I made a joke about like getting 3 pieces of chicken I had never seen in my life. And then I had to remind them that they didn't know anything about Kentucky. I was like, you don't know nothing about Kentucky or Kentucky Fried Chicken. I said, I got 3 pieces of chicken I don't even recognize. I think one piece was a piece of butthole. I'm not even sure. I don't even know what part of a chicken this would be. It was the worst ever. So,
well, maybe they didn't get all of the 11 herbs and spices. Maybe on the recipe over it, they missed half of them or something.
They missed all of them. It was like, this ain't Kentucky. This ain't fried chicken. And then all my Australian friends were like, Waylon, you messed up by doing that. We just called us and we just got you something good to eat. I was like, when it said KFC, I figured it was universal. Nope, it's not. Subway is better. KFC is not.
I remember I worked for a restaurant for a long time that would get a monthly magazine. And one of the things in the magazine was, food from around the world, the way that they make pizzas over there. And, some of the toppings you can get and stuff. And, like I think in Mexico, you can get corn. I'm like, why would you ever want corn on your pizza?
I like corn. That is actually makes me think right there. Now, see, that's the thing. When I do go to another country, I do like to sample what they eat.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really dreading going to the UK because I am not a fan of fish at all. Like, I don't eat any type of fish. I'll eat like shrimp or crab legs or something like that. But you put some flounder or bass or trout or crappie or anything like that on a plate, I ain't touching it. That's fishy. Don't want it. No. Yeah. Been that way since I was a kid. Cannot stand the taste of fish. But I will eat a fish stick. I don't know why.
Well, you never know what to say to fish stick, but
it's probably not even fish. That's probably why I like
it. probably more chicken or something. But
is.
That's why that the chicken that was supposed to go to Australia, they got cut off somewhere along the lines.
What's the best food that you've ever had, like from a place you didn't expect it?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. I don't know. I mean, honestly, just being on tour and going to places, where it's like you might get a per diem or you might get food, at the club or something. So you're trying to play. I mean, you've ran out of Little Caesars pizzas after so many tour dates, and you're like, all right, come on now.
Oh, I can't even eat pizza now. Like, I've had so much in my life. It's like, no.
I remember I was on one of our first tours, and I had saved up a couple of days per diem, and I was like, I am going to go and have a real meal. and we were in Denver, and I just walked from the club in one direction and just found a restaurant that, you know, I probably shouldn't have been in, but you know, I sat down and I was just like, I just want an actual meal.
Please say it's home cooking.
Is it a meat and three? You know, can I get something good? You know, but yeah, it's yeah. I mean, you just kind of come across stuff like that all the time, or you know, just crazy burritos. I remember eating burritos in like Kansas City or something that were one of the first big giant burritos I ever had. I think was around Kansas City,
and everybody's addicted to it. I'm like, oh, the best meal that I ever had. Where do you think you would find the best steak? I'm just going to ask you this question first.
Well, it's probably a Texas thing, right?
I've had great steak in Texas. I've had in Fort Worth. I have been to the cattle yard, and I have had great steak. The best steak I've ever had in my life came from Brooklyn, New York, and it's called Peter Luger's.
There you go.
And, my bus driver raved about this place, and he's like, "Oh, save your PD. We're going." And it's like a $300 meal. Like we had to chip in together, like to do this. And like 5 of us went. And as soon as you walk in, all you see on the walls is awards. And then in the middle of it is a huge picture of Johnny Carson. It says, "The best meal of my life was here at Peter Luger's." Signed, Johnny Carson.
Nice.
And I get there, and I'm just like, man, that stuff is crack. Like we had like a 64-ounce steak, and I left hungry because it was so good. Like,
wow.
Like I could I can't, like to this day, like my wife and I will go once every couple years. Like once everything opens back up, I'm definitely going back. But you have to get a reservation, and just like, even she's not a big steak eater, and she's like, it just melts in your mouth. She's like, Frank the Tank, it's just so good once it hits your lips.
Right.
But that was the most shocking, like just like blew my mind, you know, because I mean, you remember the commercials for the El Picante?
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. Yeah, you get a rope, you know.
Yeah, and it was like, no, that was the absolute best meal like I could ever remember getting on the road. Just like, oh my God. But you know, it took quite a bit of saving to have that meal.
Right. Yeah, you start looking at the tour itinerary, you're like, I'm gonna have to start saving in Cleveland, you know, for 5 days before we get to Brooklyn, you know, to make sure to get that.
And the sad part is, and you have to plan it. Like you got to call and make a reservation like 6 months in advance. It's like, well, we'll hit the road in October. Sometimes we got a New York date here. You can make a call and make that work, because that's how it works. You got to put in the reservation to get in, or you're not getting in.
And that's when, you know, being in Mushroomhead doesn't, you know, do anything for you. You know, like they're like, who? Yeah, click.
Sir, you need to change your attire. Okay. Where's the shop, man? I'm having a steak night. Out there mugging somebody for their tie.
There you go.
I gotta get in.
I need one of the $300 steaks.
I do. Now I'm actually hungry for it.
Right. Yeah. Now, all right. Well, interview's over. It's nice talking to you guys. Check out Killer's Confession on YouTube. You know, before we dive too much into it, man, you know, just obviously, how is your health? You know,
my health is good. I'm doing really well. I'm obviously, you know, what's going on with me. The thing about it is like I had it all removed. Like they caught this like super early, and
right.
And I was lucky. I mean, this is one of them things, you know, by chance, you know, it was like they caught this. It wasn't like, you know, I had been sitting on it for a long time.
Right.
Caught it. So right now I'm just going through a lot of blood work, and I go back in, and I'm being checked again in June, and
so
fingers crossed that this is not spread, and that, you know, I can go back to having somewhat of a, you know, because that's always like a cloud like over your head, like it's always in the back of your mind. But a lot of this has to do with me as a person, of like what I'm putting in my body, like what I eat. Like we're talking about eating steaks.
Right.
I'm not allowed to eat it anymore. Like anything that I want to eat, I can't, because it's like it just feeds it. It's like this sugar's a lot. Like anything white bread, white sugar, that stuff is just like a Kickstarter for this. And guess what? It's in everything you fucking love to eat.
Right. Yeah, it's a mess, man. I my dad had colon cancer, and they found it like in the craziest way possible. Mm-hmm. He was having some stomach pain. They thought his appendix burst, so they were going in to get his appendix out, and like kept hitting something. Oh, and wow. When they basically were going to his appendix, ran into colon cancer, and like caught it like almost immediately. So they were like, this never happens.
Well, that's kind of how I caught it. I was in pain a lot. Like, and I'm not trying to be disgusting or anything, but I'm very open about it. Every time I'd go to the bathroom, it seemed like a murder scene. Like you turn around and be like, I thought I was pooping. But obviously I killed somebody. It's like, but I mean, that's scary. Like to see abnormal amounts of blood when you're going to the restroom is just, I went, because I mean, God, good Lord, every time I even go to a doctor, it's like I just pull my pants down and bend over. I'm like, who's doing this? Oh, I'm sorry, you're the dentist, wrong hole. I have a good sense of humor about it, but it's like I'm kind of just like, I want to get through this, but it's just like it's becoming like part of my everyday life, and I don't know if that's normal. He's like, oh no, man, I'm good, man. I'm tired of y'all being up in here. But I go back in June, and they're going to go back up and do a scope and go do it again. And I pray, it's like, I hope that I've changed enough in my diet to where, maybe they were, because like I was stage 1, like it wasn't like I was stage 2, 3. Cause like once you get to 2, 3, that's when you're talking chemotherapy and that kind of stuff. Stage 1, they're able to cut it out. Stage 0, stage 1, they're able to cut it out, and then you get monitored. And my father passed away from colon cancer.
Yeah.
And, so it's scary to me. It's part of my family genes, and my mother died of breast cancer when I was 13. So to me, I'm like, oh my God. And the funny part is, like, age wise, she died when she was 39. My dad was 58, and I'm sitting between them. And I'm like, okay, we gotta do something about this. And I mean, and it scared me to death. And I knew about it for a long time before I said anything. It's like I had knew that this what had happened, and I kept quiet and kind of slipped up and said something, and next thing I know, it's like because that's the one thing I don't want everybody. I don't want you feeling sorry for me, and I don't want that and I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I wanted to fight this and just kind of keep it under the wraps, and I was too stupid in the interview.
Right. Yeah, well, I guess I'll give him a stream, like.
I guess, man, I don't want that, and say I'd rather, it's like I appreciate everybody's love. I mean, I so many friends came back in my life, and just like everybody, the amount of love was amazing. The support I have is beyond. I get texts and they're like, "You okay, bro?" I'm like, "I'm good, thank you." It's 4:30, but okay.
Right. I kind of want to go back a little bit, obviously being in bands and things like that. And, I was trying to put myself in your shoes of the, singing in local bands, things like that. And then you get the Mushroomhead gig and you're like, all right, I'm in a big band now. We're going to go on tour, but now I'm in a mask. Was that tough for you at the time? And were you guys, how guarded of your actual, faces were you guys back then?
It was never like that. Some of them wanted to keep it like that, but for me, I was like, dude, it's a show.
Yeah.
Like I'm a character. I guess I'm a character actor, if you want to call it that. Cause it is like, once I put you would not get this dude once that stuff. If I was to put that stuff on right now and go back, it's a whole different person.
Yeah.
I created a attitude, a walk, a stance. It was just, but if you met me, it's a totally different guy, different. Like I'll carry myself different, like the actual me. So I never really looked at it as like it's a show. It's like you'll see that when he comes out.
Yeah.
And I would say it like, when he comes out, you'll see. And he ain't here yet. He's somewhere poking a baby. You know, but I look at it like now, it's like, it was never like that. It was never like hide your face, like don't come out, nothing. Like, fans always knew what I looked like. You know, I was always friendly with them. And it was just one of those things, you know, it was just a performance art. It was to me. It was just a performance. And that was a part of it. It's like, yeah, you can meet me, but you're never going to meet him because he's just his own dude. And he only exists for the hour that I'm on stage.
Right.
But things kind of weird, and he kind of became me all the time. And like Alice Cooper, go listen to his story. To me, that makes sense. I mean, you get caught up in doing drugs and drinking, and it's just, you lose track of who you really are. And I mean, that's what happened a lot too, man. It just kind of like got confused on who the person was and who the character was. And
right.
I'm glad I got that out of my system. That's a crazy life.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. I played a couple of shows, like Halloween shows with masks on, and it is a lot of fun to play with the mask on. You can be, you're not you anymore. You can be whatever you want to be. And, if you're wearing a scary mask, you're going to walk a little bit differently, play a little bit differently, maybe be a little bit more aggressive. So, yeah, I kind of envy the mask wearing bands in that aspect.
I don't. I'm good. Never want to do it again. Like people ask me all the time if I'm going to do that with the Killer's Confession. I'm like, no. I lose an hour of my life every day just putting that crap on and taking it out. Like, I lose an hour, and now I'll take that hour and I do warm ups. It's like I was more concerned about how I looked than how I sounded.
You're right.
If that makes sense. Like now I take that focus and I'm doing proper warm ups. I'm stretching. I'm getting older. I'm trying to sound better, and it's like it's like a give and take thing. So now, if I was to go back and do that, it's like, man, shit, I just lost 2 hours. But because I'm gonna do an hour getting ready of doing proper ways of doing things, and then I'm gonna spend an hour getting all the gimmick on and stuff. And it's just it's fun, but for me, I'm just I've moved on from it. I wouldn't really like it. It's like I like to look back on it, but at the same time, I don't want to. I never want to dip my toe back into it. And no.
Just kind of looking back at the 11 years you were in Mushroomhead, what are kind of the lessons that you learned in that band that you're kind of taking into A Killer's Confession? As in, what did you saw the things that were happening in Mushroomhead. I want to do that. I don't want to do this. What are you kind of taking from that?
Leave the drugs at home. Leave your ego at the door. Enjoy the moment, but appreciate who put you there. Yeah. Don't let people putting you on a pedestal. And this happens to a lot of rock stars. You got to stay grounded, because when you go home, you're still Waylon. You're still a dad. You're still that. It's your job. Don't let it go here, because in reality, you're nothing special. You wrote a cool song and people enjoy it and you're entertaining them, but you're not a firefighter, you're not a police officer, you're not a hero, you're not a savior, you're not any of that. And do not because people will put you on that platform, and that's where people get messed up, is when that's a false platform. It's not real. It's in your mind, and the rock stars I'm talking about. You've met these people, exactly what I'm talking about. You be humble, be grateful, be thankful that you were able to get this far, and but at the same time, give them a show. No matter what, give them a show. I did, but that's really what I took from my Mushroomhead time, and what I want to bring into AKC is that true professionalism and giving an entertaining show, but at the same time, don't do everything that I did before and mess things up and fall back in that same rabbit hole where you're going, well, what the hell happened? It's like, I just learn from your mistakes, or you're bound to repeat them.
Yeah, and I think that one person that anyone asked me, who is the coolest rock star you've got to interview, and I think one of the coolest ones is your former boss, Dave Ellefson. He is and will always be one of the coolest dudes that does not have to be, and because he's Dave Ellefson of Megadeth, he could be an asshole to everybody, but man, he is one of the nicest, sweetest guys you've ever met. Yeah,
he really is. I love Dave. I seen Dave. We did that run with him back in October in Halloween,
Yeah.
And Dave, first day he walked up, he just stopped and looked at me. He goes, "I can just see true clarity in your eyes. Welcome back, Waylon. I love you." And I'm like, "Oh, dude!" It was like a very like humbling moment when Dave said, "I can see it in your eyes that you're here."
Nice.
And that was just a big, because Dave knows, he's been down the road. He knows the demons that are there, and he knows the ones that survive and the ones that don't. And to get that compliment from him just meant the world. It's like the clarity in your eyes, and I was just like, "Thank you." It's like, I'm working so hard at this. I got 3 years of complete sobriety under my belt, and it's one day at a time, man. But like, I don't look back. I don't miss it. I don't miss that. I miss the shows, and I miss some of that. But do I miss the lifestyle? Absolutely not. I would rather be where I'm at right now, and have a full life, and have a full be happy than to be in that again and have to go back and do that again. So like, that would be my choice. I would stay in the underground forever and be happy over success than to go. If I had to go back to success like I had it, but had to take the drugs with it, I don't ever want it. I'll stay where I'm at.
One thing that I was kind of going down the rabbit hole of the Killer's Confession, videos and stuff. The one thing I think you might have taken from Mushroomhead too is the visual aspect of everything is very visual. Now I'm not saying you visually look like Mushroomhead, but visuals are very important to you in these videos, and they look great. And I did want to go over a couple of them. The video Numb, and my son is 15, and the whole phone thing and girls kind of coming around, and just everything in that video, like it scares me every day. The exact basis of that video.
That video I was afraid of to do it first, but I didn't want to do a suicide video.
Yeah,
I wanted to do an aftermath video, a one for the family of, like, because a lot of people skip, it's like, well, what led to the suicide thing, but nobody really talks about the carnage that's left behind in the family. And it's like, there's you don't need a short-term answer, a long-term answer for a short-term problem. Yeah. And I wanted to show where this father and mother loved their son so much, and how it absolutely destroyed their lives of the loss of eventually, as you see at the end of the movie, it splits them up.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to do that, and I wanted to put a one and say, hey, it's like, you're not just hurting you look at your mama, look at daddy. It's like, look at brother and sister, look at your cousins, look at the people who love you. You're going to destroy them by this action. So I really wanted to like throw that video out there to be that kind of like beacon of like, this is what could happen, and you don't want this. I mean, you're having issues. You need to talk, and you need somebody, but you can't be so selfish to think that you're the only person in the world that hurts. And, maybe it opens up somebody's eyes to see, like, I don't want to hurt my mom like that. I don't want to hurt my brother or my wife I don't want to hurt somebody. And I felt like I wanted to be real tasteful about how I did it too. I was very, very, very scared of how I didn't want it to go overboard, and I didn't want it to be glorifying in any way. And I wanted it to be tastefully told. And I hope that I was able to accomplish that.
I think you did really well. And the one thing, I was just kind of scrolling through the comments of it too, and it just seemed overwhelmingly positive. Like, it seems, honestly, everything you do seems overwhelmingly positive from the fans. Like, it's, anytime, and even when you see Mushroomhead post stuff, it's like, get Waylon back. Like, you are beloved in that camp. And the fans seem to be very supportive of what you do.
Well, I love them, and they know it. And I tell them all the time, it's like, I'm here for you. I'm just Waylon. I'm thankful you love my music. But I'm trying to be there for them in a different way. It's like, yeah, I want to play my music. I want to play shows, but I want to give them more now. I want to be more of a beacon of like hope, of like, I have went down a bad path myself. And I'm kind of at that point in my life where I would like to be that able to look at my life and where I was and maybe teach somebody without them having to go through what I went through. My pain was enough. I don't want to give it to you. And I want you to learn from me. And, it's like, if I'm able to do that with one person, I've done it correctly. And I mean, that's all I can expect. But I just feel like I've grown up. I see things differently. Fame doesn't really matter to me anymore. Being rich doesn't matter to me, but being able to help people matters. That's what matters to me, is like like you said, when I do see them comments of this super positivity, like I was in a bad spot and this really made me think. It's like, okay, I did my job. Now let's do it again. Let's help somebody else. And, I don't know, with me getting sick as well, I've also, it's made me change, my thought process of who I am and what I want to, what legacy I want to leave. It's like, and I would rather it be a positive legacy. Yeah, I may never make it to the top of the Empire State Building again, but if I'm able to help everybody on ground zero, help them ascend higher in their lives, that's good enough for me.
Absolutely. The Remember video is done in a prison. What is it? The Old Joliet Prison.
Oh man, that was awesome.
I'm just assuming, like, when the cameras weren't rolling, were you scavenging and going down hallways and things like that?
Oh yeah, dude, I was totally all over that place. My wife and I, like, you gotta understand, this was mid-COVID. We shot this last July, I think. It was July, August. And it was hot. And I mean, you could see it in the video. I'm sweating. It was terrible. And we're going through there. And that prison actually is the prison the Blues Brothers was done at.
Oh, nice.
And that's where he leaves prison, was from that prison. So like, it had some history, but I mean, it was like the Mansfield Reformatory, where it's just creepy.
Yeah.
You get in there, it's like, you leave me alone. I'm not gonna bother you. I'm leaving. You're actually talking to something that's there, but you don't know what's there.
Yeah. The last trip my wife and I took before COVID, last February, we went to Alcatraz. And so, you're just like, you getting the headphone tour and all that stuff. And, I would love to go do something like that again. Like you said, the Mansfield prison, or
go do that
right?
one. Do, when they get the tours up, and go do Mansfield is, I've shot 2 videos there, and I ain't gonna lie, you have to experience for yourself. There's a lot of, that stuff doesn't exist. Well, I felt the same way. Just go there. You might change your opinion.
Right. Might have to go do some press there or something when they do the shows there again or whatnot.
Oh yeah, incarceration. I think it's coming back this year.
Yeah, I think they're doing it. I think in the fall this year. I think they said.
I think that I did see something about September or something.
Yeah. So, you got to do some shows, with Ellefson a few months ago, and how I actually talked to him, I think, right after he did those. So I mean, from your angle, how was it just bizarre seeing fans with masks and social distancing, or was it a show?
It was a show, man, and you just seen people miss it. People miss normal life, and like, I don't really look at any of this. Like, you call me a fool or whatever. I got more things to worry about. It's like, keep yourself safe. Do you? I'll do me. It's like, and I'll stay away from you. No problems at all there. It's like, do you do you. Be smart though. This stuff is real. My wife had it, but I'm not really concerned by it. If that's weird, it doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
I look at it like, life cycles. I mean, these things happen, you don't want them to happen. I mean, please understand this, what I'm saying. It's like, I'm being as realistic as I can. Things like this in life are going to happen. They've happened before. They will happen again. This is part of life. Like, the last time this happened was the Spanish flu. Killed a lot of people, a lot. I mean, it was like right after World War I. This will happen again. But in life, there's always a cycle, like with nature and everything. And I look at it like that. And the common denominator about that is, it has a beginning and it has an end. Life has its cycles. We have an immune system. We are very complex beings, and people are forgetting that you have an amazing body with an amazing immune system that you do know. Yes, you do. But you have we are amazing creatures, and we don't give ourselves enough credit, like what we naturally can do. It's like, you got to think, it's like, I'm not a big fan of the vaccine. I feel like it should. I feel like it should be more work. I feel like there should be more, testing. I don't know what's in it, but that's me. But I mean, if you feel like you need to do that, you need to do that. But I'm a very firm believer. This has happened before, and our ancestors got through it. If they didn't, you wouldn't be here.
Right.
Remember that. I mean, and the war posts is supposedly way more advanced, so, it's like, it could be worse. Meteor could strike the planet and to kill us all, like that. I mean, it's like, this is life. Nothing is, you are not guaranteed tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But you got to continue living today. You got to appreciate it like that. It's like, you're not guaranteed anything. And, so this, do I worry for people that are with the compromise? Yes, I do. Stay your ass at home. Stay safe. Stay away. If you feel like you are compromised, protect yourself, please.
Right.
But that goes back to being smart. You know your body. For me though, it's like I like staying away as it is. Like it's like, oh shit, I got to stay home. PS5 came out. Oh, I got one. Oh, yeah, we're good.
Right.
But at the same time, I want to play shows. But if I will bend myself to everybody too and be safe to make you feel safe, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. Reading in the little bit of the press release or whatnot that I got was, your basic plan for the rest of the year up until the record was release some singles. And I did hear you on a couple of other podcasts talking about, Spotify numbers and things like that. So are you eyeballing, the way that the music industry is now as, we're going to release a single every other month and we're going to try to get those numbers up before I just release 12 songs on you in one day that you will never listen to?
Exactly. That's how it is. Attention spans are low and expectations are high. It's like, you can't give them too much. And it's like the age of the album's over. Nobody wants an album. Nobody buys CDs. I mean, there's collectors out there. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So you might as well play the game right so you get more love from the algorithms. Play the system. And I'm not saying play the system, but like, do what's being done. Like, it's working in hip hop, it's working in country. It's like, just drop a song, put an album out, do it again. Like, and put all those songs on the album, just release them one at a time. So everything gets love. You're constantly releasing new content and you don't fall through the cracks, because you got to understand there's a million other bands trying to do the exact same thing you're doing. Just be smart about it. Be creative. A lot of content, make content for everything, content, and just go with it. Like I like my plans right now. I've already got till August planned out of what songs are coming out and what's coming out with what and what video. And like, I had videos up from the Ellison when I was with Ellison, like live footage. A lot of the videos of that. There's not major singles, like we call them tracks. Like, you got your singles, but then you got tracks. Well, I'll release a single, then I'll release a couple tracks, and then I'll release another single, and then I'll release a couple more tracks. It's like the tracks are and some people call them B-sides. I call them more like the nostalgic of like what people love to hear from me that radio wouldn't never touch in a million years. So that's cool. So it's like, yeah. It's like, boom, I give my radio, and then I'm going to give the fans, it's like, remember this old school stuff I used to do? Check this out. And then I drop another radio and then do the same thing again.
So are you seeing that, like, with your, putting together the videos and making them look really good, trying to get those numbers on YouTube up? So when tours do come back around and people start to look around and see, who's got what numbers out there, and you're like, oh, hey, check it out. AKC, we did this and this on Spotify, YouTube. It's nuts, man. And in my business too, how many downloads is this Waylon Reavis interview going to get? You know,
Mhm.
that goes on to the next one. And, you know, your publicist is going to see it and they're like, oh, he did Waylon and got big numbers. So I'm going to give him my other artists, you know, we're going to, you know, Clutch or whoever else he's working with at the time.
Exactly.
But, you know, it's a crazy numbers game and everyone can see those numbers now.
Oh yeah, they can see them numbers. And it's like, but you can see I'm being smart about it. And I'm trying to teach other bands how to be smart about it too.
Mhm.
It's like, protect yourself, protect your life's work. You know, don't get faded out because you didn't have proper information that you needed.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like I said, it's like I am about helping people. I'm trying to watch the trends come. I'm running a record label with my wife. I'm trying to stay relevant myself. And it's just like, you either go with the times or you get lost in the past. It's one or the other. It's like, it's your decision on like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to do it old school way. Well, you see how that works for you.
Right. A couple posts on Facebook and, you know, oh, damn, it didn't get traction. So I'm going to quit. You know, the one thing that I've had a few bands ask me, you know, like what they should do, how they should get to the next level and things like that. And I'm like, hire a publicist, you know, just hire a publicist, you know, and that's the one.
And write a good song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You definitely need the song. Don't get me wrong. But
you can hire a publicist. If you ain't got anything up behind it, man, that publicist ain't gonna get that far. But you know what I mean. You're right. Get a publicist, make a plan, make a business plan. I mean, and nobody wants to really admit this part about music. It is business. Have in any successful business, there's a business plan. Make a business plan. Know that this is my goal for this month. This is my goal for next month. This is it's set, and make them attainable goals. Don't be like, I'm gonna sell 1 million records, and that's my goal.
My goal is,
well, you're gonna be waiting for a while.
Or like every high school band, you know, we're gonna take over the world. You know, well, how are you gonna do that?
No, my thing is, I wanted to watch the world burn when I was a kid. I didn't want to take it over. I just wanted to be evil and weird. I did that. And now I'm complete opposite of what I was when I was a kid. But I was a very frustrated young man. You know, I dealt with death early with a family, with my mom, and you know, it just, my stepdad was a piece of shit, and you know, just put me in a weird spot. And I think back, I'm like, I just wish I could go and have a conversation with that child and be like, here, this is you. Now listen,
right?
We're gonna have a talk here. That's fucked up. And you know, it's like I try to set bands right. A lot of bands get mad. One thing I've noticed about bands is some bands don't like criticism. You cannot critique because they're perfect. And the first thing about music you need to learn is, you know, absolutely nothing. It's music. It's universal. It's not about you. It's about, is the listener getting into it? You can get to it all you want, and you think it's great. Well, and every listener in the world hates it. It's like, I do things that make me happy, but at the same time, I'm smart enough to be like, okay, you know, we're gonna be smart and listen to other people, and you can learn something. So like, if somebody gives you advice, don't just blow it off with a grain of salt. You know, it's like a lot of artists are like that. Like I work with Sahaj Tickerton, and Sahaj is always pushing me to be better and better and better. And guess what? I keep my mouth shut and I learn. And that's the key. It's like, I know I don't know everything, and knowledge is knowledge. Do not throw away knowledge because you think you know everything. Learn. Like, that's the greatest thing you can do for yourself.
You know, it's funny when you see like online criticism, and it, you know, it'll bum you out because, you know, you put your hard work into it and things like that. And then you put it out there, and then you start seeing the negative comments. But then, like, if you go right now to your favorite song ever, you think it's a perfect song from start to finish, not a bad note, perfect transitions, whatever. Look at the comments on that song or how many downvotes there is on it. And you're like, or your favorite, you know, like with me, you know, some of my favorite podcasters, I'm like, this guy is a perfect interviewer and he never asks a bad question and just goes, you know, with the flow and all this other stuff. But then you look at the comment section, you're like, this guy sucks. You're like,
they're trolls.
It's insane, man. It's
I was
insane.
on Twitch last night. There you go, speaking perfectly. And a guy comes up and he goes, "Well, I just remember such trash." I'm like, bro, man, I just hit number 38 on the charts.
Yeah.
It's the highest I've ever been. how the hell is that trash, man? I've never done this in my career at all. You know, I've never had a single on the top 40. I've had an album in the top 20 from sales, which is a different thing. Yeah. I've never had a song at radio go top 40. And the fans were trying to get upset. I said, listen, they're a troll. I can handle a troll. Listen, you just, you know, they're smart ass. They're just looking for a smart ass remark right back. And you just don't bite into them. Just give them facts. That's all you got to do. And then when you give them truth and real facts, they're like, oh, truth. Fact check that, buddy. Shut
up. But the one thing is too, is that guy might not like the song Remember. You know, he might like other things that you've done. And
that's the thing. He actually did like other stuff. And he said, I'm not good anymore because I don't do that. And the song that he chose is like one of the lowest spin songs that I've done.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, it didn't really catch on the first time I did it. You know, it's like, and insanity is repeating the same thing and over, expecting a new result. If something doesn't work, you got to realize it didn't work. You got to do something else. It's not going to catch on. It's not something you can't force people to adapt to something. If they didn't catch on to it and they don't, they're most likely not going to. You've got to be smart like that. Be like, okay, that did not work. We need not do that again.
Right.
No. Yeah, that's no. Then you know what I'm talking about. You had them songs you thought were amazing. Poof. And just dive bombs. Like, we're not doing that again. That flew over like a lead fart. And
right. Or you come to practice with that riff. You're like, dude, this is the riff. And then you play it for everybody and nobody likes it. Yeah,
nobody likes it.
You're like, no, you're not listening to it right. You know, you start arguing with people.
No, listen. You gotta listen. I am not good. Damn it. You know, it's like, but he was like really like trying to troll me last night about a song, and I'm not gonna say what song it was because like it is like some fans love the song, but when it come to like we said, when it came to numbers and things that pushed the band forward, it wasn't that song. You know, it wasn't. It actually sits like low, like one of the lowest. And it's like, no, man, it's like it's a great concept for the time, but it's not what the band needed to be. And it's like, oh, you suck now. Okay,
I love it.
You take it with a grain of salt, man. It's like, oh man, you don't like me? There's 10 other people probably will.
Take care. All right, so we talked about, you know, you got singles coming out basically throughout the year, then an album towards the end of the year. It looks like maybe some tour announcement maybe coming up, things like that. So, I mean, it looks like 2021's opening up a little bit for you. And, you know, what just kind of as we wrap this up, you know, what are the plans for the rest of the year?
Hit the road, release songs, keep being positive, and just smile, man. Just be thankful every day I'm outside and the sun's shining, man, and I'm not 6 feet down. That's it. That is the plan. 24 hours at a time.
There you go. And being in Florida, you can probably, you know, get most of that sunshine all you want.
Come back to July, I'm going to regret it when I'm melting again because I realized something. Like, I don't like being cold, but I can put enough clothes on. When it gets hot down here, I can't take enough off.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's why I like the fall and the spring. You know, there's not much in between, but you know, the summer and the winter can just no, thank you.
No, it's like it gets hot down here, and it's like it was funny because like last year I tan very well because I have Indian in me, and I get very, 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 very dark. Well, down here there's a lot of Cubans and Puerto Ricans, and just wonderful, wonderful people. I was in Walmart and I'm doing my grocery shopping, and this lady's picking up an avocado or something. She turns around to me and starts speaking Spanish, laughing, just telling me something, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, I am so sorry. I do not speak Spanish. I barely speak English well. She started saying, she was, oh, I thought you were. I'm like, it's okay, honey. And she goes, you look the part. I'm like, okay, cool. It was like so funny. You know, I was just like, because I do it, like you said at the beginning, I have a very, very thick Southern accent. And, but when I get a tan, it's like I fit right in, you know, and I love it. You know, it's like it was so cool that that she turned around and she picked something up and thought it was hilarious. She never really told me what she was talking about either. She just turned around and started. I'm like, don't understand a word of that.
Were you from around anywhere that Wednesday 13 was from?
Yes, I remember seeing Wednesday 13 when he was in Maniac Spider Trash.
Nice.
And when he was, I'm not dissing him, okay? So don't take this as a diss. But he looked just like Manson and Twiggy combined.
Yeah.
And we went out and watched them because it pissed off one of my really, really good friends. He's like, man, we're just going to go stand up and just stare at him. We're just going to stare at him. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know. And I watched, and he was playing the White Wedding back then.
Oh, nice.
Back when it was Maniac Spider Trash. And then it became Frankenstein's Drag Queens from Planet 13, or it became that, and then it became Murder Dolls. And I remember him being in the scene and stuff, and he did good. But I remember just going to a show and staring him down. I pissed him off. But I mean, I didn't know him. It's like we wasn't friends or anything. But yeah, I remember. But I mean, I actually went, and I remember there was probably 10 people at that show. And,
nice.
And thinking back on it, it was a dick move. It was an older friend. We were super into Manson, and we felt like he was ripping them off, and it was kind of a dick thing to do. So if you see this, I'm sorry.
I was kind of bringing it up more that he also can't kick that North Carolina accent either. Like if you hear him in interviews, or I've had him on the show a couple times, but yeah, he's definitely
he's a great dude, man. And it's like, but him and I had never we played one show together, I think. One show with Mushroomhead, and I think he didn't like us that well. So it's one of them things, but. I remember his past, and I was a dick in it. And
well, it's probably the whole you thought he was ripping off Manson. He's probably like, these guys are just ripping off Slipknot. It's just like this.
Well, no. I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
I was like 17 when this happened. Mushroomhead wasn't even a thought in my thing. I was like, it was around 95, 96. Speaking of which, and I mean, we were just like hardcore into Manson and Korn, like that. Like, do not F with that. That's ours. Yeah, and you know the mentality. It's like especially when you're a kid, and you grab onto something, you grab on. And he was just doing that, and it pissed off one of my friends. He's like, we're going, and we're just going to watch, and we're not going to smile. We're just going to antagonize him the whole time. That was a dick move, dude. Don't do that to anybody. Like anybody listening now, don't do that. That was terrible. That was bad. Nah, that's being a follower, not a leader.
Right.
He was doing cool stuff, man. I mean, because I remember he did a White Wedding. It was good then too. He played on a little toy, and I was like, ding, ding, ding. Is he playing? I was like, you sure it's not?
You sure we can't smile?
You sure I can't enjoy this? But I mean, but he God bless him, man. He's worked his way. He's done just like I did. We got out of the North Carolina scene and just, really busted his ass. He did well for himself, and I'm proud of him. I could say that, man. Being that we're from the same area and the same thing, I'm super proud because there's not many of us.
Right.
It's like I got out, he got out, and I'm trying to think of somebody else.
I think Rich Ward was originally from North Carolina, from Stuck Mojo, and Billy Gray from Fozzy. Both are.
Let me tell you a story about Billy.
I'd love to hear a story about Billy.
Okay, Billy back then used to play with me when he was in Method 51. Now, do you know anything about Method 51? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll stop you there because Billy actually played in Primer 55 with me in 2007. So.
No shit, dude.
He's an amazing guitar player, but go ahead.
Billy was awesome. I would book the shows at this place called Cyberspace in my hometown, Wilkes County, North Carolina, in North Wilkesboro. I'd book a show place called Cyberspace. They had a little stage in the back. I would get them, give them $100 and an ounce of grass. And I would open up for them every time. And Billy was just, we get so stoned and just have a great time. We go up there and suck, and they just go and blow the doors down. How good they were. And I love Billy. And he is just such a good person.
Fantastic dude. Fantastic dude to be on tour with. And yeah, I remember he had joined the band kind of like we were getting back together for like a 2007 they put out a B-sides album, so it's like, well, I guess we got to do a tour. And Billy's other band had a band with Bobby called Love Said No, but Billy was going to fill in on second guitar for Primer on that tour. So I'm like, on the way down there, I'm like, I remember Billy from Method 51, from back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like, but I didn't really know anything about him. But then we get down there to start doing tour rehearsals, and I think we played one song, and I'm like, yeah, he's in the band. Like, you know,
he had a song called "The Be the Man," and
yeah. The like he had the old.
Wait, and I've got to give credit again, man. It's like when I said that Wednesday and I'm talking about in our age and our scene that we were doing at that time. But I mean, you got Corrosion that came out of Raleigh.
Oh yeah,
COC. And all those type of bands too. I mean, there's been bands that make it out of Carolina, but it's like out of the scene that I was in, we're like we're the two. Like, if you catch my drift, like I mean, there's other bands that have made it throughout the years. Billy being one, because Billy was ahead of me. Billy, like I was a kid and he was doing method and he was already in his 20s and stuff, and he was already like on his way. And they moved to California, and then he was I think he was in Stuck Mojo for a minute, and then he got hooked up with Jericho, and then the Fozzy thing came about, and just But God, I'm so glad you said Billy's name, man. I haven't thought about him in a hot minute, dude. He's a great guy.
We still text every once in a while.
Small world it is.
Oh yeah, it's all a small world, man. I always love hearing Rich talk about Billy because they both grew up in Charlotte, and Rich is an amazing guitar player. But Rich will always talk about Billy being the guy in town that like could do the the Eddie Van Halen solos, and they I think they went to different high schools or something, but everyone was like, Billy was the guitar hero of Charlotte or wherever, not Rich. He
was, and he was so humble and he was so awesome.
Yeah,
it's like dude. We lost track for many years. It's like we really did, and we caught back up a few years ago. Fozzy was playing at the Mean Machine Shop with Big Dad and Texas Hippie, and me and Big Dad are so close. I love Big Dad to death, and he was opening, and I remember seeing. I was like, "What's up, Billy?" And then I met Jericho. And I'm like, "Whoa, wow, you could sing and look like you could beat the fuck out of me."
Too funny, man.
Dude, Jericho's awesome too. I've heard nothing but great things about Jericho. But when I met him, I was just like, I watch you do some crazy shit.
Yeah, I bet he does. Well, just kind of as we wrap it up, man, what's the best ways for people to follow you on the internet there?
Well, you can find me at Spotify, like we spoke about. Follow Killer's Confessional on Spotify, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, which we'd never use. I don't even know what a tweet is. And people getting canceled. That's all I know about Twitter. So I stay away from it. But you can find us on any of those. Find us on YouTube. And you can find me personally on Twitch 3 nights a week. And you can go and Waylon AKC. And I'm always gaming. And I try to game with the fans. And we do fun stuff. I do hot challenges and do all kinds of dumb stuff on that stuff. So you guys, 2 hours on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you guys want to join me, find me on Twitch, and you find us everywhere else. And you can find us on TikTok now. Yeah.
I recently discovered TikTok. Not that a friend of mine kept telling me to check it out, and I'm like, I don't know. I've spent so much of my time the last few days just wasting time watching stupid video after stupid video.
That's all it is, man. And everybody's doing the same shit. There's nothing new. It's like, oh, I remember another person did it. Another person did it.
All right, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? And you know what else is a lot of fun? The CMS Podcast Network. That's right. CMSPN.com is the address. Make sure you go over there. Make sure you watch the episodes there. You listen to the episodes there. And maybe you even just subscribe so it's delivered to your phone, to whatever podcasting software you use. But do it from CMSPN.com. Once again, CMSPN.com, CMSPN.com, CMSPN.com. We'll see you next time, fucks.